this month, actually, Living Off Rentals on the Facebook page or the Facebook group is the theme is mindset. So the timing of having the host of the Investor Mindset podcast on the show is perfect. And which also, if you're listening to this and you haven't checked out the Investor Mindset podcast, it's an awesome podcast. Some really incredible guests on that show. So definitely check that out. But I want to dive right in to mindset. And I know you're a big believer in the power of focus. And with this being, the year end and people are starting to plan out their goals for next year, I want to help real estate investors who want to get started. So, people who are aspiring. So you've had a ton of success over the past 3 years. You've done hundreds of deals. So what was your process like for landing on a strategy? And I guess, what is your strategy? What was it and what is it now? And then how does that tie in with your outcomes that you want for the future?
Yeah, so I'm probably like a lot of your guests, where I started my career as a busy professional. I was in management consulting, graduated from a really great school, and went into the prestigious route. When you're in business, being a management consultant is like you're a hired gun coming in to solve problems and fix things and move on to go solve bigger problems at some bigger organization. And that was amazing. But what I found was it was missing something. And I wasn't sure at the time what that was, but it felt like passion was the thing. So I moved on from management consulting into tech, a lot more passion, a lot more belief that something's bigger, people reaching for something and trying to create, essentially a new idea or new company out of nothing. And that's what led me into real estate. Was I had always had this vision and dream of being a real estate investor because of what it could create. But it was through this process of going from a very rigid, we're going to solve problems in a corporate environment using a specific formula, to we're going to create things out of thin air in the technology space, and with a little bit of digital marketing in there, to I'm going to go and create something that I've never done without having any experience in real estate. And when I started, I didn't believe that I could do it necessarily. I didn't believe that I had enough experience, that I had enough capital, that I had the right kind of connections or network, none of those things. And those beliefs were really what held me back. But it was in a moment of real clarity and confidence that I decided, without a doubt, 100% fully committed, that I was going to push 100% into real estate. And fast forward, as a result of that decision, the next week I was at a real estate event and had secured myself a mentor by trading my skills for theirs. And fast forward a year, I had, flipped or sold over 75 properties, flipped or purchased over 75 properties. And so where I'm getting to and where I'm coming from is that I understand what it's like to be in that W-2 position, and then to go and figure out, well, what is the direction that I want to go? And for many people, to be honest, most people are not really set up or don't really want to be active operators, to be flippers, to be having everything about their business be real estate. I recognize that, I acknowledge that. And I think a lot of people who are consuming information and want to create some kind of flexibility and financial independence, they usually think they have to go the entrepreneurship route. Now, if you're there, there's so much opportunity to really be able to support you. I'm here, obviously Kirby's here, but I think there's a lot of different directions people can go, where once they get really, really clear on what they want and why they want it, and they get really clear on their goals and what outcome they're really looking for, and why it's important for them to create this flexibility and financial independence, that you can end up finding some really great ways where, if you love your job, if you're absolutely in love with what you do every day, or you don't, you can figure out the exact path to get there. And so when I got started, I got really, really clear, because I made a lot of decisions along the way where I made a decision, thought I was going for one thing, ended up getting there, and then realized, wow, this isn't actually what I was going for. So over time, I ended up being able to more effectively and better understand what it is that I was actually going for. And therefore, when you have that type of clarity, actually achieving that outcome, finding a way to get there, ends up becoming fairly simple. Not necessarily easy, but simple, because there's so many resources out there to help, be the vehicle to get from here to where you want to go.